I'm Supermoon Tarot, and in today's video we are going to be finding out, what do you need to heal? Oh my goodness, I'm extremely passionate about this subject. Often when we want things, we want to kind of skirt over all of the pain and the not fun feelings, or on the even more fun side, the subconscious stuff. Now, you do not need to be absolutely perfect to get everything you want in life and have the fullest experience, but the more you sort of heal and cross over and smooth over, the less resistance you have, and everything just flows a lot easier. Now, I do want to keep in mind as we go into this today, the fun thing is healing does not have to be incredibly uncomfortable, difficult, or even painful. Sometimes, you have to face things, and sometimes it can actually be incredibly smooth and easy. So we're going to be looking into all of those options today. So let's get excited, because healing means less resistance, which means more fun, and you just feel better. So that's a win-win too. As you can see, we have 4 groups in front of us. Group number 1, smoky quartz. Group number 2, I actually do not remember how to pronounce this crystal's name. So just this crystal, this beautiful baby. I think it's an agate of some kind. If you know in the comments, please let me know. Group number 3, Mookite. Group number 4, Onyx. Pick the crystal that you resonate with most. I'm going to give you a moment to do so. Now that you have, you can go down to the description where you can skip to your designated group with its marked timestamp. Let's get started with group number 1. Group number 1, let's find out, what do you need to heal by looking at the cards. We have Into the Unknown Oracle card, nice. The Moon card in reverse, 10 of Pentacles in reverse, 6 of Wands upright, and the Sun card in reverse. Okay, let me look at this. Ooh, okay, I love this for you. Okay, so we have a couple different segments going on. Some of it to put into practical use, some things you're going to exercise doing, but some of it is some revelations that are going to give you a lot of comfort, which I love. Okay, so first, Into the Unknown. Into the Unknown Oracle card in this case is the mindset that you're like her, you are blindfolded and you are moving forward. And this card is all about, do you trust that when you take a step forward, even if you don't know if it's in the right direction, or, and this is the big one, if there's even a floor underneath, this idea of structure, like, do you believe that if you move forward and there's not proof of this, the stability and structure and even the path moving forward, that you will move in the right direction, that you won't accidentally go down a flight of stairs? You see what I'm saying? Now, the main thing going on here that my spirit guide is telling me about is that there's an intense grip around you. That's this intensity of like, I want to get better, I want to get better, I want to feel better. And often when we are going through something like that or other scenarios, it's great to do the opposite. And so in this case, you're going to want to sit back and sort of put on your blindfold, so to speak, metaphorically, obviously, and you're going to develop the ability to have trust, but you need to build the essence of trust without proof. It's like believing without seeing, I think is the phrase. And this is going to teach you to relax and let go while giving yourself the stability you didn't realize you needed. You think you need it by proof, examples, where's my money coming from? How do I know if I'm safe? But the trust within itself will then create all of those scenarios for you by proxy, by default. So if you build up the trust and really learn to depend on that more as your sort of lifesaver, so to speak, in the unknown waters, this will give you not only the comfort you need, because you kind of need to relax and think of it as, have you ever heard of, please let me know in the comments below if you have. If you have not, I'll go into greater detail. But there's something called a float tank, and essentially this is a real thing you can go to. It's like a physical place, and they have float tanks. And these float tanks are places that exist with a bunch of salt water, and it allows you to float in such a way where your body isn't touching any walls or anything, and you kind of lose a sense of your your vessel you're in, everything, and it helps you fully give in to this open space kind of feeling. This is what we're going for initially with you. So you're going to really want to, as you move forward in life, if you feel like you're asking yourself, well, how do I know? Well, what if this? You're going to need to take a deep breath, clear your mind, and just keep moving forward with this sense of trust in yourself and the universe, and just don't ask or look, just move forward without fully getting all the details is the best way to put it. But this idea gets extended upon, because this alone is its own thing, but this gets also in addition added to this concept going on over here to achieve this. So what is this before I go into the combination that achieves this? The moon card in reverse is, and this is what I'm seeing as well as my spirit guide is telling me, is there is some sort of huge thing around you, this mystery that is going to be revealed to you soon through these combinations to get this. Now, the thing with the moon card is it's like a secret, whether this be a secret that you're keeping from yourself or a secret someone else is keeping from you, but it is the idea of a secret you're aware of, like you can see it coming, you have a sense of it, you can see something's there in the distance, but you can't quite identify what it is, or you just know it's there, you have an inkling of it. Well, when it's in reverse, you're being shown it, it's being revealed to you. Now, this is what's really interesting, the connotation my spirit guide put on this. It is the type of revelation where when you understand who you truly are, things that once you felt defined you in a negative way, like you didn't like about yourself, or you didn't understand why you had certain tics or way you approached things, you realize were all leading up to this awareness of who you truly were, and then it becomes more of a gift and blessing you're that way, and you realize how they can work to your advantage. It's all meant to be. It's the best way I would compare this to is like realizing you're the main character of a fantasy novel, or you're a superhero, and realizing, oh wow, maybe it's not all bad. I actually, I don't, it's not a negative thing that I have supersonic hearing and can see from a far distance, or I'm trying to think of metaphors, but I think if we all had those abilities, we'd be pretty initially excited about it. But you understand what I'm saying. So this sort of mystery will make what feels like a very clouded time period in your life, and you're kind of confused and lost and not really sure why things are the way they are. It's all going to come together, and you're going to be like, oh my God, oh, I feel so cool being me. Oh wow, I do that for a reason, and I actually like that reason. Whoa, it's that type of feeling. So this is very cool. So how you get to there is a combination of that sort of trusting in the unknown mentality and putting it into practice by stepping forward without constantly asking questions and needing proof for it. But in addition to that, we want to focus on the Ten of Pentacles. It's actually being read more in an upright way, but it's in reverse due to the imagery going on here. So if you notice, this is a tree. And this tree was once, when it's upright, is the top part of the leafy part, and then this would be the bottom ground. Well, in reverse, the branches now become the roots to a sort of new tree, as my spirit guide was putting it. So they said, when you were imagining the best version of you, or the thing that you want, think of this repeating goal you have in your mind. Maybe it's like you really want to be confident, maybe it's a particular object or position in life you want, whatever that may be. As you're thinking of the long-term goals of like, how would that be? What would be the daily life leading up to that version of you? Would that be? Would you be someone who, instead of waking up and feeling, sad or upset or something like that, you would maybe take a second and be like, I'd be the type of person to instantly get on my feet and run to breakfast, or I'd start meditating first thing in the morning, or whatever that may be. Think of that version of yourself that you would be at that point in your life, and you're essentially going to just start immediately practicing all of those techniques. And those techniques are going to be the new root or seed, but more of your it's more roots than seed, because it's more stability being built for you for your new tree. So you've actually elevated to a certain point now, which is what adds to the whole mystery concept. So for you might feel lost and confused and be like, I don't know, I don't feel like I'm progressing at all. No, actually you've progressed so much. Now we're moving on to the next level of that progression. We're taking what worked from previously, and now we're taking that and we're adding a building to it, essentially. So don't forget both of those in order to lead to the opening of the mystery. And I want to clarify one last thing before we go over this. The mystery is, you go, well, when will it happen? How will it happen? Try, again, with the unknown, to have the least amount of resistance with all the questions and asking. This is the sort of thing where someone will tell it to you, you'll have it in a dream, maybe your spirit guide will come to you, maybe suddenly it will click in your head out of nowhere. You'll know. It's not going to be difficult to realize it's you and connect to all of it and realize who you really are. But these combinations are essentially putting you towards this path. Now, going forward, what's going on over here? The main thing is in the Six of Wands. This is actually a very specific practical thing you're going to additionally practice with this. So, pardon me. My spirit guide says you're going to practice a form of meditation. It would actually be really great if while you're going to bed at night, you practice this meditation lying down right before you go into sleep mode, but you're welcome to practice this first thing in the morning, whenever, whatever. But you're going to imagine you are in a sort of landscape, and on the ground are all this amazing stuff, anything possible that could make you happy, things you want, things you've had in the past. Hold on 1 second. Oh, my spirit guide says don't think of the past, because if you think of the past, you're going to think of other people you've been with or specific scenarios. Think of more loose things that make you happy now, if that makes sense. Like, I'm talking about aesthetic things, like a particular sweatshirt you liked, maybe you have a favorite pet, whatever it may be. So kind of create this menage of all these things you want to be, you're enjoying right now, so on and so forth. And you're going to then envision yourself flying above it. You're going to really get in the mindset of not only the perspective of looking down and you're soaring over it, but you're going to think of the lightness, how it feels, the sense of airiness, the sense of infiniteness, limitlessness, where you're just soaring over this and you're seeing it and you're just looking at it and you're reveling in how nice all of those things are. Not that you will get them or what that means or when just think, isn't that great? Look, there they are. Look at all those things I love, and including, you don't even have to think of future tense. Look at that thing. I like that thing. I like that version of myself, and just really float and enjoy that idea of both the feeling and sensation of flying, as well as the imagery you're looking at when you look down below it, and enjoy it and sit in that. And then after you meditate, maybe like 10 minutes, just kind of contemplate this idea. You want to, with the Sun card, you're going to get sort of an airy euphoria feeling. Euphoric feeling. And as you have that sort of euphoric feeling, you're going to also sit in that euphoric feeling as you go about enjoying the rest of your day. So you don't have to force it all day or overthink that in that kind of way, but for a good while after you do this meditation, let's say you do it first thing in the morning and then you go to have breakfast, keep contemplating, like, wow, I feel so great. Wow, I feel really light. Wow, this is such a great sensation. And don't put any weight on it. If it goes away, don't worry about all the details. Just kind of really, focus on it. Give it some extra attention afterwards. And that's going to do a lot and add to propelling these feelings and ideas over here. So, pretty easy, pretty fun, a lot of practical stuff you can put in practice right now. You've got this. I can see you becoming a much more relaxed, euphoric, happy person. And I'm really excited. Please let me know what's going on with this revelation. I don't normally get such a big sort of like, this is who they are kind of feeling, and I love that. Let me know who you think this version of you is, or what the secret is. So if you enjoyed this video, please consider giving it a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell, ding-a-ling-a-ling. It helps out the channel like you would not believe. Have a beautiful day. I am wishing you the best, and I will see you in the next one. Let's get ready for group number 2. To skidoo. Let's go over what you need to heal by looking at the cards. We've got Come Together Oracle card in reverse, Wheel of Fortune in reverse, 9 of Pentacles in reverse, Judgment card in reverse, and the Tower card in reverse. Let me look at this. Wow, this is very relationship oriented. However, I'm going to keep it a little more general still. It does involve another person. So if you are not currently romantically in a situation, this is more heavily oriented around that. This could be someone important in your life that you regularly interact with. You know what I mean? Like this could be like a friend or something like that. But I'm giving more of a heavier orientation towards a romantic partner. So just keep that in mind. So let's get into this. So first, the Come Together Oracle card in reverse. This is our first sort of clue and hint, and it gets repeated over here in the Judgment card in reverse, that there is something off with your connection with somebody else. Now, this connection, I want to even keep it even more broad. This could be the general connection you could potentially share or have with others. It could be like with an array of people you come in contact with, like your flow and connection to others just is off. Now, the thing that this specifically entails is this idea that either you're withholding love in some way, like it could be competitively, or like they made me mad, I don't want to, express myself in that kind of way. Or they could be putting you in a position where you're longing or yearning for them. Either way, this card talks about the idea that true love will not be denied to you. And when I say true love, I'm referring to the most generalist term to true love. True love usually is only referred to romantic. I'm talking about no holds barred. This is it. I want to know this person the rest of my life. And that can also classify for, a good friend, or wouldn't you love to feel that feeling at all times when you come in contact with everyone? You don't have to genuinely, like your coworker, want to like hang out with them every day, but you can see something so special in them that you just feel a general sense of love everywhere you look, and so therefore you're always filled and abundant with it. Again, I'm getting more of a specific person in mind, but I'm just keeping that out there so everybody is included. So anyways, this talks about the idea that something's off either on your end or someone's end, and that if it is true love, it should be smooth and easy. Both for you, you wouldn't be compelled to do something like that if it's more on your side and you're holding back, and you wouldn't have difficulties connecting to this other person in that kind of way if it was so easy and effortless, if you get what I'm saying. Over here in the Judgment card in reverse, this is when two people are feeling disjointed. It could be for a variety of reasons. Often when the Judgment card comes up in reverse, it could be both of you guys are like not acting like a couple. It's like you're still hanging out, but it's not really like a lot of consideration for the other person. This could just be like you're pushing each other's buttons at the wrong time. You're both making bad calls, not on purpose to be rude, but like right before someone does something, it's like in their head they hear the inner voice that says, maybe give them some space, or maybe not right now. And they still are compelled to do it because they want to know the answer to something, and then, they upset you in some kind of way. That would be like the scenario we're talking about in the Judgment reverse. But either way, it just talks about the blanket idea that something's off in the connection with someone else. So this idea gets continued on, but keep in mind, we're not just talking about how you're hurt. It's to make sense of this because we want to fix this situation, fix this relationship going on. So over here with the Wheel of Fortune, something important to understand here is we have two people in the center, if you notice. All they can see is one another, and they're going round and round and round. They're not even aware they're in some form of convoluted, chaotic tornado of emotions, and they're not aware of what's happening around them. Now, the Wheel of Fortune talks about this idea of cycles and flows, and understanding, in the traditional sense, if you're a tarot reader, I just want to happily share this with you. Normally in the traditional sense, Wheel of Fortune refers to the idea of ups and downs, and understanding that if there's a down, there's an up, and if there's an up, and there's a down, and it's natural, and it's a normal thing that will pass, and you don't have to take it all so seriously, essentially. But in this particular case and scenario, it's more referring to your flow. That's what my spirit guide's referring to it as, your flow in life. And it's disjointed, and you're not even able to see that it's off, and you're not in it because you're so consumed by your emotions and disruption of emotions with this other person and scenario in connection with other people. So keep that in mind. That's a huge reason why you're kind of off in healing. If you were focused more on your flow in life, what happens next for you, what makes you feel best, what makes you feel the most confident, and so on and so forth, then you would feel a lot better resolving this other scenario so it's not so much of a distraction to where you need to be. Do you get what I'm saying? Like, we know where you need to be, where you need to focus, but it's understandable that you're distracted, as I said before. So continuing on, we have the Nine of Pentacles in reverse. And specifically, my spirit guide is pointing out over here this owl. That's the main focus we want to focus on in this card. So in this case, it is talking about the owl's wisdom and specifically more the sight. My spirit guide really wants me to point out the sight of the owl. The owl can see in the dark. The owl can see intense details from very far away. And we're referring to this idea of vision when you're looking at the situation in the relationship. Are you looking at your relationship from enough of a distance to be able to see all the details of how things went wrong, or like the obvious stuff? Are you able to, when we say seeing in the dark, think of the dark as like you feel confused and you're not quite sure what to do next. It seems like a lot of unknown stuff. Well, you actually have the ability to intuitively look through that and know what is going to happen next, and really make great logical decisions. The way my spirit guide puts it is that it's in reverse because you're not taking advantage of the abilities you do have. You have them. You can be able to see the obvious and then therefore conclude decisions from that. Again, the wisdom of the owl. But you're just not utilizing it. You're allowing yourself to be caught up again in the idea of this could be anything from who's right and who's wrong to the painful thing of being like, I know it's not a good relationship, but I just can't help it. I miss them. These things are preventing you from taking advantage of you already are very skilled at this. Use it to your advantage, essentially, to help you see yourself out of this and see the next move and help you pull yourself out of, I want to say this, like fantasies, so to speak. It's not the idea that these fantasies are wrong or can't happen. It's that you're just too focused on them existing at all and not seeing what is already there. That's the best way to put it. Now, going forward, right here is super, super important. So the Judgment card does mean what we talked about before, the bad sense of judgment and the disconnection between a couple. But it also refers to this idea of when the Judgment card pops up, this is usually when you're being tested by the universe. You're basically being put into a position of being like, okay, is this going to continue? Is this the best possible situation for the both of you? Or is it best maybe if you part ways? It's not meant to happen. You're basically being tested, not for any punishment, but if you're so strong and you're able to push through the test, you'll be stronger than ever. And if you can't pass the test, it's like basically being like, if I was with someone that I was truly meant to be with, this would be nothing. It wouldn't even be a test or an issue or anything. It'd be easy peasy lemon squeezy. And so what's going on over here is really important in the Tower card in reverse. So what's going on is you're sort of being tested. So if you're kind of in a particular situation where you're feeling, it's been a little more difficult than regular recently, this is your test going on. The test is trying to reactivate your sense of sight and being able to see all the little details of what's going on. It's making you ask yourself, is this something I want to let go of? Or, I'm starting to realize, could it be easier and my other person I'm with isn't fulfilling me emotionally enough and doing that potentially on purpose because maybe the connection's not as strong as it should be there, and so on and so forth. And this test is going to bring to light what's going on in the Tower card. Now, I can only leave this, to be honest with you, vague. Normally I can get into details and I'll pull more cards, but I'm being told leave it alone. This is for you to honestly ask yourself, because if you already saw the end, you would not then enact and practice these, and you need to practice these in order to heal. The Tower card in reverse refers to a long-standing issue finally coming to an end. And that's super important to pay attention to, because that end could be the end of the suffering of the relationship, as in you're good to go, both of you pass the test, you're closer than ever, you're back in your flow, all this positive jazz. Or, and this is where the or comes in, it's not meant to be and you guys aren't together anymore, and you ultimately are then more open to the better scenario, the better person, the person you'll look back at this current relationship and be like, wow, it was what it was, but I'm so happy I'm with this person now. If I had known I was going to meet this person, I would have, gotten out of this situation sooner. Remember, it is about you understanding that you are going through a struggle right now because you're essentially very skilled and potentially able to be in the flow, and you're off. And all this pain keeps continuing on and on and on because you're currently in it. And you need to solve it and heal it. We went over the different methods. I believe in you. You are meant to receive true love. You're meant to enjoy it, have this beautiful flow, and be abundant and open. It is the happiest version of you way to be. But that ending really is up to the particular specific scenario. So I'm sincerely wishing you the best, because it is not fun to break up if that is the case. Again, this is all your own choice and decision. You'll just have to come to terms with whatever that is. I'm sincerely wishing you the best. It's going to turn out okay in the end no matter what. Seriously, it always does. But also, if this is a situation where you're both able to overcome it, get excited. It's going to get even stronger and more connected than it was before, and you're going to be better off for all of this. Oh my gosh, I just hiccuped weird. Anyways, I'm sincerely wishing you the best. Please let me know in the comments below. Are you excited? Do you feel like you too can overcome this? And if not, how are you going to... Maybe that's too serious of a question to handle. Don't feel, I don't want to make you uncomfortable. You answer how you want to answer. Anyways, I'm wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one. Please feel free to comment, like, subscribe, hit that notification bell. I'll see you in the next one, and let's get ready for group number 3. Group number 3. Let's look at what do you need to heal by looking at the cards. Your oracle card is Education Upright. 2 of Wands in reverse, the Fool card, Page of Swords in reverse, and 4 of Cups in reverse. Give me a second to look at this. Ooh, okay, I love this. This is actually super smooth and easy. It's super repetitive too. I love when spreads just kind of repeat a lot of the same information, a little more nuanced. It actually is very appropriate for the subject we're talking about, and I'll explain in a second. But the overall way I would define this spread is that you have certain kind of energy, and it's going to sound a bit contradictory when I go over things, but stick with me here. I'm going to explain it all. But it's like you're taking that same sort of energy and then you're just putting it in a new direction. So let's go over that new direction. The main motif of the spread is the Education card. It was funny. My spirit guide, I thought they were saying know it all. And I was like, what? They were like, no. You need to know it all. So the Education card talks about the idea of you do not have all of the information and resources you need in order to progress. And by obtaining this, it will help in the healing process because you are currently in a state of stagnation with the information you already have. You're going to hear me repeat that a lot, but it's going to make greater sense as we go deeper into that. So you need new information, and that new information, seeking it out, receiving it, continuing to seek out even more, so on and so forth. This is going to create a nice momentum and get you back in the flow. And this is what's so great about it being easy peasy lemon squeezy. Like I said, sometimes healing doesn't involve sitting down and talking about your feelings for, weeks on end. Not that that's a bad thing. We're all about that here, but sometimes it's a lot easier than you realize. So let's get into more detail about what that all means. I can see by here, and here, mostly these 3 cards, that you have been wanting something for some time. You're trying to reach some form of goal. And because you feel sort of, I would say stagnant, but it's almost like there's a lot of energy behind the stagnation. It's like you're running in circles is the best way I can put it. And because you're not moving out of this circular position and moving more forward, it's bumming you out. It's stressing you out. It's starting to you're getting into your head a little bit, and it's not fun. We already talked about how you can move out of that with new information, but keep following along. It's going to add up into more, so this will resonate more. So going on, the way my spirit guide expresses this information going on over here is that this is a little dancer, and as she's dancing, she's freaking out the Fool. He doesn't like it. It's not his cup of tea. And what the dancing is tied to in the 2 of Wands in reverse is the idea of planning, but specifically over planning and over planning something that is not new information being added to the plan, but the same information that's being repeated over and over again. It's like, when you tell yourself, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. And you're like thinking of your daily errands for the day. It's like you just keep going, and I'm going to do this, this, this. And you get ready to go, okay, I'm going to do this, this, and this. You're in the car. I'm going to do this, this, this. You're driving yourself a little nuts. And then that idea gets expounded upon again, or that idea that it's freaking out gets exported over here. Oh my gosh, the vocabulary I'm working with. Sorry about that. Expressed here in the Fool card in reverse is that it's not carefree. It's not free-spirited. And that's what would serve you best right now. You want to feel like you're flowing from one fun subject to idea to organizational plan to the next. You want to feel like, yeah, I could do this, and you're kind of inspired to take action and look at something new, and then maybe even start making your plan become something. It would be very carefree, it'd be very relaxed. You're not quite thinking too far in advance, but it would be fun. That would be the big idea being expressed here. You want fun in the newness of seeking out what you need to do in the long term, gaining more knowledge, so on and so forth. And this sort of repeated kind of stagnant planning energy of the same information over and over again is just stunting this. If this was given more room to express itself, it would then beautifully mix with what's going on over here. And this is where the nice momentum and you getting in the flow and feeling more healed and just kind of feeling like you're moving out of this whole time in your life would progress a lot easier. Going on, we have the Page of Swords in reverse and the Four of Cups in reverse. So the Page of Swords in reverse traditionally refers to the idea of somebody who is criticizing themselves, and then this sort of criticism is like you're already referring to yourself as like, oh, I haven't won. Why would I win? Why could I get? It's already like you're falsely pre-predicting your inevitable fail. Now, in this case, I'm being told by my spirit guide, this is not a lot of you. A lot of you, it's maybe for some of you, it's a form of criticism towards yourself, but the main majority of, or the main idea that's being expressed in the Page of Swords in reverse is the idea that you're just, again, repeating imagery over and over again in your head. It's important to understand what the Page of Swords means because the page refers to a student and the swords refers to a mind, a student of the mind. This would be a really fun time period of you gaining what you need before you go out into battle or go out into enacting your plan. So it's not even necessarily important that you make your plan come to life right now. I mean, you can make that happen, but that's not necessarily important to the healing process. It's about enjoying what you're doing right now as you're building up new information. In reverse, same concept that I've repeated like 800 times now. Same information over and over and over again. It's not fun. And then this is what's then causing over here in the Four of Cups. The Four of Cups, when it's upright, and this is how it's being expressed in this, I know it's in reverse, but even if it's in reverse, it's being read upright in this particular case and scenario due to the way they're facing each other for fellow tarot readers. So anyways, the Four of Cups upright is somebody who's in a bad mood because they're apathetic. They're bored. Nothing's new. It implies that there is information at your fingertips, so when you're looking for this new education, it's within your reach, and it's potentially referring to you already having. You potentially might already have the book. Probably refers to an access of internet. You know what I mean? Whatever it is, it's easily obtainable, and you just couldn't care less. You're bored. Nothing's really inspiring you. Well, nothing's inspiring you because of what we talked about here and repeated here and repeated here. So the main vibe you're looking for is that the boredom and the repetition is causing a sense of anxiety and kind of getting in your head. You're not feeling any sense of momentum. It's roughen things up essentially. And the healing process would do best if you felt free and care-spirited about learning new things and getting excited about what will become and on a practical level gaining the things that you need in order to become this person or evolve into this idea. But when you catch yourself too in your head, If you've said this idea before, stop saying it. Write it down in a notebook. It's been said. In fact, actually, that'd be a good idea. Get a notebook and write down every time you have said something. And then don't say it again. It already exists in the notebook. You're not going to forget about it due to it already being, in existence and written down. And keep trying to strive for something new. It's going to make you feel a lot better. And it's a pretty, in my opinion, easy way to heal. So I love that for you. If you enjoyed this reading, please let me know in the comments below what it is you're particularly seeking to receive or you're working towards. I'd love to know personally. Anyways, feel free to give this video a like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that notification bell. Helps out like you would not believe. I am wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one. And let's get ready for group number 4. Group number 4. Let's find out, what do you need to heal by looking at the cards. We've got Oracle card Moonlight in reverse, Queen of Swords in reverse, 4 of Wands in reverse, 3 of Wands in reverse, and another Queen of Pentacles in reverse. I love that you have 2 queens, because even when they're reverse, it refers to this idea that, how do I put this? You have mastered more than you're giving yourself credit for. And queens often refer to the idea of creating. They can physically conjure it and make it at any given time. So I'm very excited for you. No matter how you feel about yourself, you're much more capable than you realize. So let me look at everything. Okay, this makes a lot of sense. Okay, let's first start with these 2 cards and then what you can do with it. So first, going on here, these 2 cards are directly related to each other. Moonlight in reverse. This is when you are stuck in a situation where you are just basically doubting yourself if you can make good choices. This involves a lot of second guessing. You feel like your intuition's off. You just feel insecure about whatever you're picking and then sticking to it and feeling like it was the right decision, essentially. Now, I want to be clear here. It does not say in the least your intuition is off or that you are making bad decisions. It's just saying that because you feel trapped in this sort of mindset, well, it doesn't give you a lot of stability. We're going to repeating that idea again in a moment, but let's continue with this. So, one thing this card says is that you kind of need to start making these decisions and being really nice to yourself and being like, yeah, well, if I'm wrong, at the minimum, I'll always have learned something from it and gain a greater sense of awareness of myself and therefore more stability. I can trust myself more when I do make the right decisions. You have to just make them and kind of step forward with the openness that, yeah, you could get it wrong, but you could also get it right. So as you step forward and you make choices and make decisions, no matter how small or how big, always say to yourself, but I could get it right. I could get it right. And by default, you're always getting it right, because even if you make it wrong, you're learning something and you can build on that knowledge. But I don't want you to repeat yourself, well, I could get it wrong, I could get it right. Say to yourself, but I could get it right. Always leave that anticipation and possibility on the stronger percentage that you could get it right to build the confidence towards your, decision making. Going forward, this makes sense with why you feel like you're going through this with what's going on in the Queen of Swords in reverse. So my spirit guide specifically is pointing out the snake in this. The color white is associated with the number 1, and it is associated with the idea of presence, like being present in the moment, be here now, that kind of concept. And the snake is actually often, it depends when you meet your animal spirit guides. This is sort of like a fun fact. I could talk about animal spirit guides if you want. They're very cool. Animal spirit guides don't always have to directly refer to what they're commonly known for in their textbooks. They can come talk to you about anything, just FYI. But anyways, in this particular case, it is formed with the traditional method which is about, or not method, idea, which is about medicine. Sorry, I was tripping up over my words in that. And treating yourself. We're referring to the term treating yourself. Like something's wrong, you give yourself something to treat it. And you're treating it with sort of the Queen of Swords in reverse mentality. She believes, because she's so connected to the truth and she's able to understand that idea really well, she criticizes herself. And she's taking this sort of mentality with the snake as like over treating herself with the truth. Sometimes we need to be honest with ourselves, and sometimes we're using it as a form of a weapon to put ourselves down and thinking that we deserve it and that we need to approach being honest with ourselves in that kind of way. And when we think of over-treating ourselves, my spirit guide is showing me like a white snake that is she's putting it up to her arm and she's letting the snake bite it and bite it and bite it and bite it. And that's what's essentially happening. You're over-treating yourself. You have the intention to help yourself, but you're overdoing it in a harmful way and it's not working for you anymore, essentially. So keep that in mind. Be aware of when you're overdoing it. We talked about the idea of making decisions. Remember both of these, keep them in mind. Now let's move forward over here. So first, this just blanketly says there is a lack of stability internally in you, and that is a huge reason why you feel shaky and off. That's the main thing I'm being shown. You feel shaky and off. You're not quite sure. This is where maybe potentially anxiety comes in and a lot of self-doubt. You need an internal structure that you feel confident about depending on. Now, structure is really interesting with the Four of Wands. We're referring to this idea of like a sense of home within yourself as well as stability you can depend on. Because if anything goes wrong, you want to feel like you can trust yourself and turn inwards and find a little place to retreat and feel safe in your own, sense of being. And if you don't feel that, well, if you know where to turn, you just feel like you're constantly on the run. It's a very uncomfortable feeling. So with that in mind, we have what's going on over here, and that stability can be built with these two cards. So again, we have the Queen of Pentacles. Sorry, I was going between the words pentacles and coins. Queen of Pentacles, again, is this idea towards you that it's a compliment, if you will. When the Queen of Pentacles is in reverse, it's still positive, especially in this case and scenario. It is referring to somebody who is building potential towards what she will eventually put out into the world. So even if it feels like you're not having any sense of momentum right now, nothing's quite coming into fruition, you are still, even in a more dormant mode, building something that when it comes out, whether this be due to universal timing, or in this case, I feel it's more of a connection with yourself. When you feel that connection with yourself, it'll be an explosion of all this other positive stuff you're working towards or you want from yourself and so on and so forth. It is big, powerful energy. But for right now, it's not doing anything but building up. So even when it's not doing something, it's doing something. But that building up energy while you're storing and waiting is talking about how you're spending that time specifically, kind of like buying your time. So when we have a Three of Wands in reverse scenario, this talks about the idea of you asking yourself, taking a moment to pause and reflect and say, when I've put out my messages to the world, so to speak, what have I been putting out there, and then evaluating that question. These ideas of messages are, what do you tell the universe? How do you view yourself and tell others how to view you? What do you tell the world and say, what do I want and how do I want to be treated? Do you tell people, oh no, don't worry, I don't want to bother you? Do you constantly apologize for yourself? Do you say you're not good enough? What is the messages you're essentially telling everybody, and then evaluating that and saying, could you flip that around and maybe tell the messages differently? Because the Three of Wands talks about the idea of whatever you put out there is what you essentially get back. And I can hear people outside. I'm going to finish this up really quickly. The point in scenario is that when you are aware of what you put out there, message-wise, and you say verbally, and you say with your energy, is what you get back. Is there some way you could flip that more to your advantage? Think of that as a contemplative thing and something you're going to work towards and start projecting out there while you're kind of incubating, is the best way we can put it. So anyways, keep all of these things in mind. You're going to gain a sense of stability from this. Realize, yes, you're very smart. You are honest with yourself. You're a little bit overdoing it. Is this the best case way you can help yourself by saying certain things? Is it even honestly true after a certain point when you're saying it to such an aggressive tone? Is that the only tone that can be taken when saying these things to yourself? And be aware that your intuition's not actually off. Just the doubt within you is stronger. Don't worry, it'll all work out in the end. So please let me know in advance, what are the messages in the universe you'd like to put out there for yourself? Put it out right now in the comments. Like, once you say it, it exists and it can then therefore come your way. I am wishing you the best. I will see you in the next one. And yeah, bye. Oh, don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe, hit that notification bell. Bye.